Okay, part two, because my recording software only allows me to do 10 minutes at a time. So, like I said just a second ago, it's a lot of people are going to view the extra money that the government's taxing them, as a way of stripping them of their power. And albeit this would be wartime, it's a little different than the government just boosting taxes randomly. At the same time, we see the government just, increase the national debt all the time. And so I feel like a lot of people are going to go, why don't they just do that? Without any real thought as to why the government has, taken more money from them. And these next two slides, these are from a collection of ration coupons that were given to people during the war, and these two are just two that really kind of caught my eye, because they're things that now that we would really just kind of take as, not really a privilege, but as, a guaranteed right almost. So this first one is, a coupon to buy, acquire, sell, and transfer rubber boots and rubber work shoes. Like, you have to have a coupon to buy shoes. This to me is really interesting because they needed that rubber to create supplies to send to the troops. And I mean, they needed tires for vehicles, military vehicles, transport vehicles, things like that. And so you see this ration coupon, and initially I was a little puzzled, but it makes a lot of sense, because they're going to be limiting a lot of day-to-day items, because those day-to-day items are needed for those soldiers. This next one is a non-highway gasoline ration. This is, our day-to-day, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to go to, the movies, I'm going to go out to eat type of thing. Like, you had to have a ration coupon in order to drive X amount of miles. And there were also coupons where, like, motorcycle mileage coupons and highway mileage coupons. There was even some for sugar and for bread. And so a lot of these things where you go to the store and you can just kind of pick up whatever you want off the shelf is, they're being limited, which we've seen a lot of actually lately with the whole coronavirus situation. The stocks have been incredibly limited, and stores are, limiting the amount of items that you can purchase. Walmart specifically is limiting, at least the larger Walmarts, the amount of things that you can purchase to one item. Things like milk and chicken and groceries that people need, and a lot of people are getting upset about it. And granted, it's an inconvenience, but we also have to take into account that other people need those things, not just us. This other one, this next quote, it's not really a quote, it's from a table that I found, and it said that World War II was funded 41% by taxes and 59% through debt and signage. And this is another one of those things where people are going to look and go, why can't we just use the national debt? Why can't we just kind of abuse that some more, instead of increasing taxes on the American public? However, again, this is one of those things where people are going to see it as a way to strip them of their, say in things. And this one, that's a mess. This was a New York Times article that was written December 30th, 1945, and it says, Big Navy supplies freed for housing, $56 million in building materials, put in surplus category. I didn't really think this needed anything else. The title kind of says it. Like, the government overestimated the amount that they needed. And a lot of people now would see this and they'd be incredibly upset that the government took all this money from them and they didn't actually need it. And a lot of people would be just up in arms. And me, I have to leave my house for work to go get materials to build things. And I hear people talk about the restrictions that are placed on them just during this coronavirus situation, where you're not supposed to have these big gatherings and you're not supposed to go out as much as you can. You're supposed to stay home as much as you can. And there's a lot of people who don't understand that it's for the safety of everybody, honestly, to minimize the spread of this, to minimize the burden on our medical system. And so I really don't think that these big, people are going to view them as overreaching policies to limit the amount of money that you make. And limiting the amount of things that you can buy, giving out rations again, like that. To me, I'm only 22 years old, but that seems like such a foreign idea to me, to be rationing things. At least at the government level, for the entire population. And so at the end of my, presentation, I really don't believe that we could, institute the type of, action that we did for World War II again today. I feel like the, population as a whole has this very, independent kind of mindset. Like, they don't want the government, policing them too much. And they really don't want people to tell them what to do. And so when you look at, the government is forcing, I know it's law that the government can retool manufacturing facilities for their needs, but I think a lot of people would, view this as an overstepping of the government's bounds, like the government works for the people, not the other way around, type of mentality. And even these restrictions, again, with coronavirus, where, it's not just because the government wants you to stay home, it's, trying to help people. People are, mad about it. And so I don't believe, I wholeheartedly believe that this would not work. Again, the government would have to find either some way to appease the population or find really another way to make this happen, because I don't see this working out now unless there's some drastic change in public opinion, should there be another war. And that's really the conclusion of my podcast. Thank you.